That's right. It's another late night, which means, of course, it's time for another whimsical reach into the Just Giggle grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out, oh my lordy, there, there, there's just one thing left in the bag. It's like the bag from the Santa Claus. It's about empty. We have. Let me dust it off here. It's been waiting for us for a long time. It's HBO Max auditions. All right.
Yeah, Dragon, this is the, I believe the second time in the history of the grab bag that we've kind of like run into the end of the sketches that they've had lined up.
Yeah.
The first time, Dragon, was, that was the one where we did the hashtag Just Giggle It sketch, right?
Yeah, that was when we were pulling that last time. Yeah, because we saved that one specifically as the last one because, well, not a lot to it.
Okay, so I feel like this is a nice kind of like mirror to that situation because there is a lot to this.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. Where there's everything to this one. This is like
I feel like if this was legitimately like the last sketch of Just Giggle It that we ever see, I know that's not going to be the case. They're working on.
We know we have more in the pipeline. This hasn't presented itself yet, and again for understandable reasons.
But hypothetically, if this is the last time that we see the actual JGI sketches, this would be a good one to go out on, Dragon.
It would be. Absolutely.
Of course, this one, it brings back a fan favorite character, and then it also has just cameos galore, Dragon, just oodles and oodles of cameos. The one person who's not here who I wish was here was McBride. It's well, and Sagar. It's I wish Sagar was here, but McBride and Sagar. But besides those two, Dragon, and correct me if I'm missing any other major players, but besides those two, I mean, we got just about everyone, buddy.
Let me put it this way. Okay, so HBO Max auditions, it's kind of like the endgame reunion of the JGI players. And McBride and Sagar essentially are Sagar's like Nick Fury, where he doesn't show up till the end probably. Right. And McBride, he's Vision. So, he's unfortunately he ain't coming back, folks. At least until he gets a spin-off show on Disney Plus. So he's not coming back for a while.
And that spin-off show is going to be the Ken Armand show.
That's what I'm saying, yes. I want that show, much like I want
I know you do.
The point being, yes, in the endgame reunion of it all with our JGI players, we're missing our Vision and Nick Fury, as it were. But I mean, we're still, it's a packed house, though. It's a lot to love. It's an Avengers Assemble, funny for sure. Mm-hmm. So HBO again. We saved this one for last because it was the big wham blam of episode 4 of JGI at Home, and again it was the resounding success of that episode. And honestly, one of the best sketches within the bunch of all the JGI at Homes. It's really good.
I would say so. I think this is one of the more simple sketches, just because it's it's kind of like a riff on the same gag, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of just by its very nature, I think it's going to be an easy one to talk about, even though it's 10 minutes long. But just the very, also by its very nature, just having all those people in it, definitely made for a memorable live watching experience, considering a lot of those people were in the chat with us. So it's like, hey, it's Corey, it's Katie. Yeah, what are you going to do? Look at the, everyone's here. Oh my God.
What do you do? What do you say? Hey.
Austin, Emma Leonard.
Forget the move over the boys. It's the Boyce.
Oh God. God. Wow. Nice one. Anyways. This was definitely a really good one to go out on. And Dragon, I think especially that ending, the KMG Joshua Thomas of it all, it's beautiful.
We'll get there.
I know. All right.
Yeah, so this one is written, directed, and edited by Joshua Thomas, as you can probably imagine. This one got quite the interesting making of. But so basically, HBO Max's satire on, it's kind of, again, in kind of the end game of it all, kind of looking back to the past of how far we've come. Very much kind of the ultimate sequel to the timely sequel to the actor's audition thought process. Remember that one?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the 2020 version of that, via the Zoom audition. We're not quite in the thought process because everyone's kind of unified in their thought process that we're kind of seeing through the performance. So it was kind of a duplex, kind of like part 2 years later. We very much, everyone these days are going towards the studio of promises, and like, hey, we have all these DC shows coming. Like, hey, we got this stuff with this stuff on the horizon. Like, hey, we're gonna come to the X1, but we're never going to HBO Max.
Right. All right. So, you ready to break it down?
Well, I mean, just one thing of the background I want to get in there.
Sure,
too.
sure.
So the way they shot this. It's quite interesting. So this is not as simple as it looks. It's not just like, hey, Joshy Boy has a Zoom. Because one, he's talking to himself in the Zoom call, as you can probably imagine. So they have Joshua Thomas here as Allu Dannenberg, and everyone else, essentially, Allu here is calling each and every one of these people separately.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes twice, because there were some errors and technical difficulties in shooting this. So he had to do some of these twice. And he had to combine all these separate takes to look like one giant Zoom call, which is crazy, right? That it looks this good after doing all that.
Now that you mention it, yeah, it is. That is kind of like some searching levels of like web browser editing, Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, let's give Joshua Thomas an American Murder spinoff. Let's
oh my god! Oh, he'd kill it. He'd kill it.
He would. Yeah. No pun intended. But yes, he would.
God. All right.
All right. Okay. So, and also, big thing with
Dragon. Now I'm just imagining an American Murder parody with Piper and Milosh.
You know how much I love JGI's parody of Making a Murderer, so I'm
absolutely exactly.
It's the new equivalent, man. I want more Making a Murderer stuff, but it's kind of fallen out of focus because of said American Murder. So I get it. Let's do more. Let's do it. Joshy Boy finally snapped. He killed KMG, and now we got to do the parody of it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! All right.
No, but of course I'll save the Allen stuff when we get to Dannenberg. Okay, so. Zoom call begins, and we have like some jaunty music. Everyone's kind of filing in. We have like the instructions to stay muted, and of course some silent Zoom comedy as like the JGI players are kind of like doing. If you look at, I love that you look at each of these little boxes, kind of Brady Bunch comedy, if you will. Like they're doing stuff.
Oh, it's totally a Brady Bunch thing. Yeah.
Call them the JGI bunch. Do. So, of course, we have Poncio,
Jenny Tran, Delaney, Piper, Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yep. Also, of course, little Joshua Thomas. Also, of course, Joshua Boy's in two places at once because he wears many hats, and he has to store those hats on many heads. So there's many Joshes. If we learn anything from Gwen Benavides, there's multiple Josh. Of course, people are reading right now the Three Jokers story. There's three Jokers. There's also three Joshes.
Oh God!
That's how we shot that. No one knows that. I'm going to let you know the secret, folks. I'm going to spill the tea on this. There's three Joshy boys.
All right.
Anyway, but yeah, so we have like a little Heath Ledger nod in the set too, which is kind of nice too. Anyway, so yeah, Piper, Sipka, the whole gangs that we're going to have more. We're going to file in later on, including that little Emma Leonard in there. Emma Leonard. Apparently, up to 499 people can be in a room for a massive call like this. So at least if I read that right, it's crazy.
God, screw that noise.
I know, because I don't get that. That's the thing. Like the little counter
that sounds
like
sheer
300.
Chaos.
Because it says, I assume what it is. It's like that many people have entered the call and then probably walked out. I don't think they're all there simultaneously. But then again, we could just be seeing the next filing of a whole bunch of people in a call. I don't know.
Right.
There's like 300 and something out of like a max occupancy of 499. It's crazy. So then our illustrious casting director enters, and this is Joshua Thomas playing a character by the name of Allu Dannenberg. So Allu, kind of like a hello greeting, of course. Dannenberg.
Hello.
Very much. I think it's pretty much the assumed gag. Hello. Or Dannenberg's actually a town in Germany.
Oh, nice.
So of course, you remember from watching you.
Yes, I do, Dragon, and like. This isn't like exactly the same character, is it? No. So basically, this is kind of like a Beavis and Butthead, Tom Anderson, King of the Hill, Hank Hill sort of situation, right? Where it's like kind of a similar idea for a character, a similar voice, but it's not exactly the same character.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I think it's a loving nod to Xerxes from what. So Xerxes was not a casting director, but he was an acting teacher who also was a director. Yeah. So because of course we saw in the Poncio sketch the whole best acting class ever, best acting class where he returned for a bit there, and so Tyler Keyes played that guy, and this is pretty much Joshua Thomas, I assume, doing an impression of Tyler Keyes, and in my headcanon. in my head canon, with all these JGI characters can exist in the same universe for the most part. I like to think that Xerxes and then Allu are probably buddies or something. Again, they kind of went different career paths. Xerxes, him in the cast directing, he sends this guy Allu sends the actors to Xerxes. I like to think.
I like that.
So the point being, I imagine they're friends. They're probably from the same small town or something, perhaps. I don't know. At least they know each other in the business. And this guy is from Nine Casting.
Oh, God.
Which is genius. He's from Nine Casting. We're not casting anybody. Really funny little clever joke there. Anyway, so point being, Joshy Boyce, he's hilarious as Dannenberg here. So he welcomes and establishes, people are going to join the call as it goes on. And remember, stay muted. More people enter as the thing pops in, like good old Corey Olnick and Jackie Duncan. I love when Olnick shows up. I just feel so
Corey
happy.
Needs to be put in more things, man. He's such a hit on the live streams.
I know he is, and when Corey enters, man, he's got a bubbly person. He's a little bon vivant. I dig Corey's bon vivantness, but also he's just so funny because again he makes those little choices that just kind of sing there, like when we spit out the drink and the bars are closing. Sketch is priceless. All right, let's see. So Allu, of course, you remember what Allu's big claim to fame was, Tiki?
Oh yes, he casted the German version of Blue's Clues, or as we say in German, "Where is the dog?"
Children, where is the dog? Where is my dog?
God. Which honestly doesn't even really make sense for Blue's Clues when you think about it.
I know when you really think about it. It's more
because
like
none of the Blue's Clues are about actually finding Blue.
Because Dora is about like the really pointless questions, like where is this? Where is that? Swiper, no swiping.
That movie was still way better than it has any right to be.
I imagine it is. I still have it. I was like, I can't bring myself to it. Okay, so. Let's see. So then Austin Boyce enters, and she spots Mark. And of course, like, Mark! Like, hey, baby! And he's just like...
Stay muted!
Stop waving, please! And then Prabilski... Oh, I was so elated during the live when this thing premiered.
Prabilski was definitely like the surprise cameo, I think.
And we now know, thanks to Josh, why we're probably not going to see Taylor for a while. But Prabilski, though, it's always a joy to see her pop up. Like, stay muted!
I like how when she pops on, she just like introduces herself very professionally. I know. Prabilski.
She's a pro, man. I dig it. She's awesome.
Well, she's a pro until later on in the sketch when things go off the rails.
That is true. You're right about that. But again, it was kind of off the rails at that point. She knew she wasn't getting it.
Right.
All right, so we have, so basically we've kind of set up the way it's kind of laid out here within the cuts, within the editing, which again, expert editing by Joshua Thomas here. And this is like an editing Hall of Famer for him, for sure. We have we kind of have these two rooms because we cut away because it's like 5 people at a max for the boxes below the screen.
Yeah.
So we have, basically, right now we have kind of the current players at play below. Well, sorry, I was thinking about the other one. The point being, we have like 5 players and 5 players on the other side. It's kind of like Infinity War when we split off the groups. We've kind of split them off and they've come back together. That's kind of the idea. All right, so okay, I'm sure you're used to the auditioning on the Zooms all the time now. Like, oh, I'm Ready Player One.
Oh God.
But this is different. But no, this is no different. This is different. This, and of course, is where like some of the money lines are here. This is the HBO's, the Max.
The Max.
The big time.
I was definitely quoting that in the chat. I was like, the Max.
The Max was so, yeah, it's like, well, it's kind of the thing we kept doing with the plus. Du plus.
Right. Oh yeah, it is kind of like that. You're right.
The Max. Everything's kind of funny when you add a German accent to it for the most part. It just kind of works. The Max, the big time. So, it's a huge new platform and a new payday. Who wants more stimulus? Again, we have a few political jokes in here, but again, kind of slid in there.
Stimulus because they're German. Hi, hello.
I love that technically doesn't because presumably he's in the U.S. presumably,
Right.
which just makes that funnier. All right, so essentially it's pretty straightforward. It kind of lays out. Okay, I'm going to go one by one. Instruction to stay muted to kind of make this go along. And presumably he saw like the other 300 and so people. They keep just coming through in these groups. I guess like they're told to show up at a certain time, like an audition. They do their little read. And again, I am assuming with all of this, by the way, because got to remember the JGI players right now amidst the quarantine and everything. They are, they're working on these Zoom calls. They're auditioning via Zoom. I know Joshie Boy's been staying busy, so presumably this is what it's like. I mean, we don't know. We're not on the inside. Presumably this is how it's going on right now.
This might have been how Ted Femright got his gig for I Can Hear Your Voice.
Yeah. Hey, were they? Yeah, they were. So that wasn't shot before the quarantine. They were all socially distanced during that, right?
You know what? From what I've heard, I think it's one episode. I think the first episode was shot before quarantine. And then the rest of it is all like the audience clips are literally just stock footage from other game shows.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think that was the deal with Femright's episode.
That sounds about right. I could buy that. Okay. So let's see. So anyways, it tells them all to stay muted. Of course, this rule gets broken a lot through like the color commentary and kind of the gag where everyone's just kind of saying, he was kind of interjecting over certain performances, so they kind of break this rule a lot, this whole stay muted thing. He gives them the line, he gives them all the line to audition with to say, so we can kind of pick. They're basically auditioning for an HBO Max commercial, to be specific. So he demonstrates, he gives them a line, so he can go home. I know you are home, but you know what I mean. Okay, so he tells them all. Tells them all like also enough of the waving. All right.
So you're at home, you're watching the HBO, suddenly the Max comes on, which by the way I love that because it kind of implies that HBO Max is like a TV show or something on HBO. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the X1 thing I'm so pissed off about. That's what it's advertising.
Right.
See, because again, right now they keep saying it's coming to X1, but it's not.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's the Max. Oh, wow. Here's the line. Wow. So many options. I feel like my friends are right here with me. Or right next to me.
Yeah, right here next to me.
Yeah.
So that's the line. That's the line that we've teed up for everyone to take a stab at. Also, during the whole like the enough of the waving, I love Jenny Trams being all peppy and like waving everybody, and then like gets shut down. And very, very Paul Rudd-esque, by the way. Joshua Thomas's character remind you a little bit of Paul Rudd.
A little bit, now that you mention it.
Enough with the waving, and then Piper Henson, she just gives us like amused, like she's so amused. Oh, take her down a peg. Allu, take her down a peg. All right, so we go through the lineup here one by one, pretty much in the number. They go left to right with all the boxes. So we start with Alex
Ponsiu. So I like how Alex is like nervous. He's like, all right, okay, let's do it. Okay.
He has a really normal read.
Alex.
Wow, so many options. I feel like, folks, at this point, we're not going to read the whole line over. You know what the line is, but essentially, I'll give you one here. It says, wow, so many options. I feel like my friends are right here next to me.
Okay, Alex, so normal. Okay, any old day at the office then, huh? No, it's not. This is the Max.
This is the Max. Doesn't this remind you when we kept doing that Tommy Wiseau running gag around Jim and Andy?
Oh God, remind me what the running gag
was. Okay,
so
around this time was speculated, and of course it was kind of false ultimately, that James Franco, he stayed dressed up as character, but he would remain in character. Like he talked in the voice, but it wasn't actually Tommy Wiseau. And we kept doing the whole like basically James Franco as Tommy Wiseau. Seth, I need to be like Netflix. I need this to be.
Oh my God!
Jim and Andy on Netflix. I need.
Oh God!
Why can't you deliver this, Seth?
God.
James, we worked together on many movies. Why is this happening right now? Just like stop doing crazy. I'm trying to make movie here. I need digital. God. I need film. But it's shot on digital. That's how we're doing this. But you're talking crazy, Seth.
All right.
Anyway, okay, yeah, I got rant.
Oh yeah, okay. I get the picture. All right.
So essentially, that was kind of our stupid running gag for a while. All right, so then we have Jennifer Tran. Jennifer Tran, who again, she's been popping up in some of my favorite shows lately. She's been loose. She's going to be in Lucifer when it comes back, and
Nice.
she's been in Space Force. I saw her in Space Force, third episode, kids, like around 11 to 16-minute mark. She pops up. All right. So Jennifer Tran, Jenny's all, hello, thank you for the opportunity. And then basically we're doing kind of the Kevin Smith Q&A thing here with Allu. Who's, thank you for saying it, but no one else says. He's trying to put a moratorium on like the whole happy. I want to wish you a happy birthday. I just want you to ask an effing question, that sort of thing. Like just
Right.
sort of more moratorium on it. So to keep things moving nice and effectively. And anyway, so we have like this great effusive read from Jenny Tran. I think she should have got it. Honestly, I think Jenny Tran nailed it.
I think a few people could have nailed it. I honestly think Mark did really well. We'll get there. I don't know. We'll get. People are crapping on Mark.
So, anyways, then we have again per the feedback of Allu here, he's saying, "Good. Maybe you do have some friends, a few friends."
I just love how his feedback, just borderline makes no sense.
Yeah. And of course, we have an all shucks pose from Jenny Tran is wonderful, and I love how. Guess who we go to next after Jenny Tran?
Let's see. We go to Piper,
but not Karen with Y. But yeah,
not Karen.
Which I think is a vague political joke, but I'm not sure.
Is it a Karen joke?
That's what I think. Otherwise, it's kind of a fun random gag. I mean, if it's a reference, and that's the only thing I can think of it to be a reference to. I don't want it. Again, I hate the fact that that's a reference now. I really do. I hate that we have like a name for that sort of thing. But I mean, I guess I don't know.
Oh, I work in retail, Dragon, so it's an easy shorthand. I actually kind of appreciate it.
All right. Anyway, so we have Piper Henson. Piper Henson's there, and of course we built up. Again, this is the other really cool thing about this sketch and ending on it, and kind of the perspective you added to it earlier, Tiki, is that again we have some great payoffs to the arc of JGI at home within all that openings.
Absolutely,
where Piper and Jenny Tran, their rivalry is at a height here on the sly, where they're laughing at each other's misfortune and stuff like that. Where it's I thought you were Karen. This is no Piper with an I, and I was like, oh, ain't that so cute? And she's laughs at her. Oh, it's adorable. It's a Dazzlus Piper, and of course Jackie Duncan again. This is the idea here is Joshy Boy when he's editing this, he's putting in a bunch. There's a director's cut of this, folks. I should have mentioned that earlier. There's a director's cut of this. We haven't seen it, but there's a whole bunch of options in terms of putting all different sorts of reaction shots. I'm sure. So Jackie Duncan's like, oh, Piper's on.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Piper just does it very seriously, wow, so many options. And then Mark is just wow, Piper is really improving.
So of course, basically, Piper she's overacted it, which is again it's good, but again maybe a take two for a commercial would have sufficed. But and of course, the Allu is saying, wow. Thank you, Meryl. And we have the silent Jenny Tran just laughing at her misfortune like she's having a ball. Oh, Piper, I nailed it. Piper didn't. Which so rarely happens because again, the girl pays off like a slot machine in terms of acting. She rarely does she have a miss.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So I'll let you know if I'm casting film clips for the Academy Awards.
All right, so Corey's next up.
Yes, basically just overall Corey, he does a fine job. I think Corey also he was in the nailed it space. Corey did a fine job with it, and this is I feel that one. Again, so does Alan.
I feel like my friends are right here next to me.
And again, I think pretty straightforward. I'm all for Team Olnick.
I also love all Corey's his facial reactions. Just he has such a warm smile. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. He, at the very least, let me put it this way. I think Jenny had all the bases covered. I think Corey absolutely had this is the guy you want to see in that commercial.
Yeah, this is the guy I'd want to hang out and watch HBO Max with.
I could see Corey getting a lot of good commercial work.
I absolutely could.
Yeah.
All right. So next up we have Austin Boyce.
Better Call Saul alumni. Sorry, I love bragging about that. It's like, hey, oh my God, Austin. She played a scene with Kim Wexler. It's so amazing. But no, seriously, Austin Boyce. She does the Ear Time podcast with Joshy Boy and does a lot of that stereo app stuff these days. All right, it's awesome.
Wow, so many options. I feel like my friends are right here next to me.
So everything's going good until her little hand gesture at the end, gesturing towards her friends, which leads to some feedback. Who how big are your friends though? Are they the borrowers? Are they
Are
the
they the
Smurfs?
borrowers? I love that.
The borrowers, because I love the bar. Nostalgically, I love the borrowers movie with John Goodman. So oh God, it's just such a fun pool. I lost my mind during the live broadcast on that one. So basically, it's like, how tall are your friends? Like they're in the palm of her hand. This is like, I don't understand your metaphor. Give me the line again. Now, I gotta admit, I want to get your opinion on this. We don't see any second takes within all this thing until we get to the last, well, the penultimate one, technically.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, within the editing, Josh made a choice like not to keep the pace going, to remove like maybe I imagine maybe in the first take there were like maybe like at least 2 reads on each character.
I mean, that's definitely something that we could see in the director's cut. I like. What are you asking me though?
Well, I mean, did you pick up on that too? Like maybe like we cut out like a second take or something that was kind of teed up. Like I want to hear it again, then we don't hear it again.
Maybe I don't know. It didn't really. I didn't really notice it that much, to tell you the truth.
Well, yeah, it's still well paced anyway. Slice. All right, so Jackie Duncan.
All right, so Jackie Duncan. Pretty straightforward. Except this is another like basically the next 2 are the like focusing on the silly voice, right?
Yes. So basically, again, they both give good reads, but okay, let's try one without the silly voice, and then we have this great cut. I think one of the best edits within this thing is Jackie Duncan. Again, the irony bounds with Joshy Boy doing a silly German accent versus like, no, it's not. That's just my voice, and just like cut to the next accent, which is Emma Leonard.
Oh, do you want me to do it with an American accent?
Could you? Then we have Mr. Mark Sipka, everybody, Mr. Mark Sipka.
Like I said, Dragon, I think that Mark gives a really good, straightforward, direct, like this. You know, he's kind of like the more everyman version of Corey's delivery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the fourth.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think the fourth wall gag here is that clearly Mark was the guy who probably would get the HBO Max gig. He probably would, but we're crapping on him because he's tailor made for it. So I think that's the gag. Is thinking about all the pot shots that Allu's kind of taking here at him, like, oh, your resume is that you were on a game show, the Wayne Brady thing. Tiki's referencing the Wayne Brady thing.
I also love Delaney's like, come on, Mark, I watched your special, man.
Yes, a special family special, folks. Watch it on Amazon. It's Prime Day. You need something to watch. You don't have to pay a dime for it. All right, so of course, like, well, I guess your acting is credits. It's so harsh when you think about it. It's like, oh my God. So unfortunately, you didn't win the prize today. Like we're just crapping on old Marky there, and also we cut out Delaney completely. Delaney's whole reaction. We don't get his audition.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't even notice that.
That's what I'm saying. He pops up, and then we cut out Prabilski's audition too, because Prabilski has next is Kelsey Prabilski. It says, oh, Prabilski, is that German? No, it's Polish. And then just the cut says, oh, this is because she wasn't German, she didn't get the role. So then we have surprise, surprise. Joshua Thomas.
2 Joshes for the price of 1. What's this?
Now it's really funny.
Screen Josh.
Split screen made so easy today.
I know.
So what's really funny about this too is I don't know if you caught this. I'm sure this is like just a sound alike, but essentially we're playing score underneath this sketch in a few places, and the score that comes in here is wonderful. It sounds very Schindler's List-esque. It's like we're playing the end of Schindler's List with the John Williams score.
Oh God!
Think about it. It's like what he's doing the ring. He was giving him the ring and everything from the Schindler's List. It's kind of it's exactly what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. So the idea is like, oh, the salvation has arrived in Joshua Thomas. It's like the boy can act, that sort of thing. He could have saved us more time. So, if
So at first it looks like this is going towards just like kind of like a subtle little ego boost on Joshua Thomas's part. Like, of course, Joshua Thomas would cast himself.
had this not ended the way it does, this whole thing, I hate to say, would have been really self-indulgent.
Right.
But it didn't. That's what shows you JGI knows what they're doing. They didn't go the self-indulgent route. They went like we went up to the line. This is, oh, you thought we were doing that, didn't you? But we didn't. And of course, the whole litany of the JGI gang, they're ribbing and praising him like he's Charlie Brown, pretty much. Like Jenny's like, yay! And Ponzi's like, next. Piper's like, boo! Along with Emma, boo! And Austin's like, yeah, because she has a podcast with him. Like, yeah. And
yeah,
Kelsey,
I like how there's like different factions of who likes and doesn't like Josh.
What does Kelsey do, Tiki?
She takes a big fat rip from a pipe, and I respect that. That's what I would do in that situation as well.
Really, Josh? Kelsey?
No, that's what I would do in a situation where, like, I was on a big Zoom call and it's obviously going wrong, and I'm just I would just say fuck it.
Right. Okay, so let's see. All right, so lots of faces, Josh. Oh yeah, I got a lot of friends. Being all humbled, I got a lot of friends here. So I don't care. Okay, so he delivers the line. Very straightforward, very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
He wants again, and we're playing that Schindler's List music, man. Big stuff's going down here. Oh God, the salvation has arrived. It's like it's Joshua Thomas. Sorry, I know it's such a grim and serious and wonderful film. By the same token, though, again, it's like that opening. It's Oscar Schindler. It's so fun.
God.
It's the only running gag in that movie. It's gonna stay true.
You're right. You're right.
The only joke we could possibly make about Schindler's List, now, well, that we have that. Okay, anyway, so Josh, he does it 3 times total. He does it 3 times, and then Daryl says, "Quit while you're ahead, Josh." So I've seen enough. Because Josh, he is perfect, and then ping, your little ping. Someone has entered the room, Tiki. Who has entered the room?
KMG.
Oh, yeah. Never has NBC been so jealous. So basically, let me put it this way, okay? With the endgame analogy yet again. So KMG enters. Now, for us, for you, me, and the KMG fans, it's like Scarlet Witch entering an endgame, where it's like, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. So that's KMG.
Allu would be like, I don't even know who you are.
Exactly. Oh, well, I'll tell you, I'm Katie. Hi. And then on the flip side, we have
Josh's acting is fucking priceless. Dragon, the reaction.
I know. Josh is reacting to her as if it's Captain Marvel and he's Thanos. Like, wait, what? It's like basically anyone's reaction. Oh, Captain Marvel. Well, I guess if it's Endgame, but still,
Right.
All right. So Allu, he's instantly charmed, like most of America with the exception of Joshy Boy, charmed by KMG, the normal to his Garfield.
I like how she doesn't even really have to say the line. It's just like, you're perfect.
And of course, like she's coming in like every opposite thing you want to do in an audition. I'm so sorry, I'm late. Like the link wasn't working. And are you still casting? Well, I was going to end it, but you're perfect. And we have like this, oh shucks, Katie Mary Garland post. Like what? Who, me? And again, you can see Josh fuming. Like Josh, he had it. He had the role. He's best for last, and then Kay just swooped in like Bugs Bunny to his Daffy, man. Just like swooped in there. Oh boy. And then we have oh god. So she has the HBO Max commercial. We have like Kate. Well, what is your name? Katie Mary Garland. This is like, well, Catty Mary Garland. This is Catty Mary Garland. Catty Mary Garland. You're going to be a star of an HBO Max commercial. That will do it, people. That'll do it, people. And of course, as they all exit there, we have Mark Sipka just kind of voicing the room's thoughts.
Wait, Katie got the gig?
What?
All right. And, oh, man, that was a marathon one. But, yeah, that'll do it. That was it. Until we get the Wiseaus, or I don't know, for all we know, we might be talking about this one again when we get to the director's cut. Who knows?
I know if we're desperate, possibly. I mean, if it's really different, there's a lot more footage, which I believe there is. We might revisit it. I don't know.
Possibly. All right. Final thoughts, Dragon?
Thoughts, ultimate punchlines to the Joshua Thomas Katie Mary Garland runner for sure. It's I love that we kind of we reflected the openings and kind of the arc there of Josh gave her all the business in those openings. All the Katie got the last laugh within this last sketch for JGI at home. Again, I think they kind of lucked into that, but it's wonderful. I mean, it's definitely the best of episode 4, one of the best of the Zoom sketches, and possibly overall, because there are a lot of good sketches. This one, again, it's the end game of the sketches, man. It was delightful. Now, before we go here, folks, I'm going to tell you, I can't tell you when, but I can tell you soon. We'll be back on JGI talking Harley Quinn season 2 with Joshua Thomas. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
season 2 is crazy, Dragon.
It is. So, folks, I'll tell you, it's probably, I'll say generally it's probably going to be on a Wednesday. I'll say keep your eyes open for it, man. Keep your eyes open for it. It's going to be a fun one.
All right. Final thoughts from me. I think this one, it's interesting because if I had a criticism for it, it'd be that I feel like maybe it goes on a little too long because most JGI sketches aren't more than like 5 minutes, and this one's almost 10 minutes. But then again, there's still a director's cut, and you gotta have all those people. Like, and the matching of the sketch is the end game of it all, and of course, Endgame is the longest MCU movie, so it makes sense in theory. I just think that it gets maybe a tiny bit repetitive, just having the same line said over and over. There's I was kind of struggling for ways to explain the different line readings throughout this podcast a little bit. But I mean, other than that, like you said, it's just a great payoff to the Joshua Thomas, Katie Mary Garland thing, and a good double dose of Joshua Thomas. Joshua Thomas playing a fun character, kind of good uses of everyone throughout. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I'd be interested to see the director's cut because this thing already feels a little padded.
Yeah. Maybe it's going to be like a Snyder cut thing. It'll be in like 4 parts. Maybe we'll get like 4 director's cuts.
Possibly. All right.
All right, folks. So until next time, I mean, until the grab bag refills again, it's just going to be Tiki and I sitting in our cushy chairs in the JGI vault watching Harley Quinn together for the meantime. So until then, we'll see you until the next exciting.
It's like the Seinfeld gag, Dragon. Actually, I'm quite comfortable.
Yeah. Till next time. Till next time, reason the Just Giggle the grab bag.
This is the max.
The max.